Tonight, we debate 8 Spielberg films. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Debate 8, where we pick a topic and you decide the winner. We have another excellent topic for you tonight. We are doing Spielberg films, one of the greatest directors of all time, and we've narrowed it down to 2 decades. We're doing the 90s and the aughts. You know, just recently I learned that the 2000s were called the aughts, and so now I'm using it everywhere. So the 90s and the aughts are our decades. We've mashed them together and we've picked 8 stellar films for you to debate tonight and to vote on, and that's what we do. You are deciding tonight who's going to win. We're going to have our guest on in just a second, and they're going to give their opinions, but at the end of the day, we're voting, but you guys are voting as well. So we're all doing this together, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Big shout out to Sir Nerderlot, who is here. Mike Porter is here. Trinity, Second Street Marvel is here. Jacob Banders is here. Nice to see you watching this live as well, sir. All right, I don't want to keep the guests waiting too long. We have a newcomer tonight, and we also have a returning guest who has brought a guest with him. So we've got a guest of a guest. So we got 3 people hanging out with us tonight, so this should be a fun one. So let's go ahead, let's bring them on. First up, he has his own YouTube channel, Dempsey Pillot. Dempsey, thank you for coming. Welcome to the show.
What's up? Thank you so much for having me, Adam. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. I'm glad we got to work this out. Yeah. Have the schedules aligned for you to come here. I'm a big fan of your channel, so I appreciate the fact that you were able to make some time to come and hang out and debate some Spielberg with us tonight.
Yes, and I'm sorry. You and Ryan will know that I almost got it mixed up. I was so mixed up before this. I probably shouldn't even bring it up, but it's kind of embarrassing. I thought this thing started like at a totally different time. But you know what? I'm here. I'm ready to go.
Hey, it's fine. Totally different time. Thought it was a different day, and I explained to you. I said it's cool because time has no meaning at this point in everybody's lives, so it's totally understandable. And then we have Ryan from Nerdy Blurb TV bringing Shug from Nerdy Blurb TV. Gentlemen, welcome to the program.
What is going on, everybody? This is Ryan, and I'm Shug, but my real name is Brandon Wilson, but please call me Shug. We got Shug from the Shug Show. We're so happy to be here. I told him that we're going to do this thing tonight, and he didn't really know what it was, but I just told him, I was like, what's a better movie, Hook or Jurassic Park? And he's like, Jurassic Park. I'm like, you're already winning. So yeah, we're going to win tonight.
You know what you do. I
feel confident.
Yeah.
It's going to be easy for us.
Yeah, it's up for tonight is the $1 million prize, Shug. So if you do well enough, maybe you might win a portion of that. Of course, 99% of that will go to taxes. So there is that to worry about, okay? So keep that in the back of your head. All right, so like we said, we have 90s and 2000s Spielberg movies, and we have 8 that we threw in our tournament bracket that you guys are going to vote on. Let's take a look at some of these matchups to start. But you know what? Before we even do that, I want to see your level of love or excitement for Spielberg movies. Dempsey, let's start with you since you're up top there. How do you feel about Spielberg films in general?
Yeah, Steven Spielberg was my favorite director of all time up until I discovered Stanley Kubrick.
Okay, fair enough.
So now he's ranking at number 2, but I love Steven Spielberg. He just has just this signature feel to all his films that is just so unmatched. There hasn't been a director who makes films like him since him. I just think he's awesome to watch. Every one of his films is so different. Mm-hmm. And he's done like these really great family comedies all the way to these intense dramas. So he's got a lot of range behind the camera, and I'm a huge fan. I'm excited to talk about him tonight.
Yeah, I totally agree. He still is my favorite director of all time, but hey, if Stanley Kubrick knocks him out, that's, can't really complain about that one for sure. Gentlemen, what is your history with Spielberg? How do you feel about his body of work, especially in this time period?
So This is like the golden age of Spielberg, in my opinion. A lot of people would probably fight that because Jaws was a decade before it. Not to mention, there's been a lot of really good ones.
He's done E.T. I like that one.
E.T. is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Sure.
But if we're talking about a time where Steven Spielberg was on top, I would say the 90s into the 2000s for sure. He is probably the most glorified in pop culture when it comes to directors, in my opinion. He is one of my favorites, but he is not the favorite. But that should say a lot, that probably my top 3 favorite movies of all time are Spielberg movies. I don't know about you, Shug. What do you think?
Totally. Jurassic Park has been one of my favorites since I was a little kid.
Big fan of Jurassic Park. So
Yeah, especially with that hat. I couldn't tell. Couldn't tell that you were a fan.
I don't like.
Right.
I'm not a Lost World guy. I don't like.
He
that
does
one
not
at all.
like Lost World. He was happy that did not make the list.
Yeah, well, I'm fine with that. That was never just not high on my list. That was never making it on the list, so you do not have to worry about that. But let us actually talk about this list. I know some people in the chat were laughing at this list already. I know you guys before we started gave me a little crap about missing some, but like I know James in here is laughing at the fact that we have Hook. I might have to look, it ain't winning. Spoiler alert. I know we're about to get into it. I realize Hook's not going to make it very far, but I still have lots of nostalgia for that. So that is our first matchup. The number 1 seed, Jurassic Park, going up against the number 8 seed of Hook. The second matchup is the number 4 seed, Catch Me If You Can, going up against the number 5 seed of Minority Report. The number 3 seed of Schindler's List going up against the number 6 seed of Munich, and the number 2 seed Saving Private Ryan going up against the number 7 seed of Amistad. So let's jump into it, gentlemen. 4 minutes are on the clock. Dempsey, I'll start with you. Jurassic Park and Hook. Does Hook have a shot here? Can you say anything positive about Hook for me, or are you just going to gush about Jurassic Park for 2 minutes?
I will say that I do like the idea behind Hook.
Okay.
You know,
fair enough.
But Peter Pan is a grown man trying to make it in the real world. You know, he's forgotten about his past life, and he's even distanced himself from his family. But then he's drawn back to Neverland, and he has to defeat Captain Hook once his own kids are taken. I think that is a phenomenal idea. It's very original. However, the film is really silly.
It
really
is
silly.
It is. I agree.
It's if I'm not mistaken, is it Robin Williams' only pairing with Steven Spielberg? It is, right?
I can't off the top of my head think of anything else.
Yeah,
As director, I would say yes, but not producer or any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, that's what I thought. As director, it is his only pairing, and I think it's such a waste. I would have much rather seen Robin Williams take on a drama with Steven Spielberg. I think that'd be a lot more interesting because Robin Williams is totally typecast in this movie. It does have a lot of brilliant, fantastical elements, but at the very end, it's really silly, especially when I forget the name of it's not Rufio, right?
Yeah, Rufio.
Yep. Rufio. Okay, and the way he dies is like that whole third act is just really took the movie down for me. It's not my least favorite Steven Spielberg movie, but it's definitely not up there with Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park is just a classic. The first one is unmatched. Everything after that is just a bumbled mess, and it's so iconic.
You know why I said stay off the mark.
So iconic. I think I have 45 seconds left, so let's talk about how much more I love Jurassic Park. No, I'm kidding. Jurassic Park is just fantastic, based on the Michael Crichton novel, which is equally fantastic. Steven Spielberg, everything in that movie, even the way that the creatures were created through practical effects, and even the sound effects that were used to generate their roars and whatnot. Everything about this film, in front of the camera and behind it, is just incredible. And obviously, that's why it has my vote.
Yeah, gentlemen, I'll throw it over to you. You got the hat, you got the background. Hook has no shot, but what do you think about this matchup in general?
All right, let's say this first. Let's clear the air. Hook is a great movie. It's great. All of these movies are great. If you would have put Always or AI on here, then I would be saying something different because those movies suck, and they really do. But when I choose Jurassic Park over Hook, it's for a good reason, and that is, I wouldn't say it's an original idea because it is based off of the novel by Michael Crichton. But just like Dempsey said, Hook is pretty original in itself. And even though it did a lot of cool things, Jurassic Park stands as one of the greatest blockbuster movies of all time. And not only that, it did crazy, crazy, amazing things with special effects. I don't know about you, but that is my reason.
With Hook, I don't remember that much about Hook. I haven't seen that in a long time. I don't remember anything about it. That's why that's one of the other reasons why I choose Jurassic Park. Though.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, look, I know that Hook was never going to make it. It's definitely of this list for sure. Even Mike Porter says it in the chat. Hook is great, but on this list, it's last place. 100%. And I absolutely knew that going in. But if I didn't put Hook on the list, I think I would be letting down a generation of people who stand by this film as a great film. And I know none of you here really trashed it, which is fine. And I wouldn't have cared if you did. But it would have been crushing to me to not have Hook in there. I'm going to save all my thoughts for Jurassic Park because I think there's 0% chance that it's not moving on. So I'm sure we will all have plenty of other opportunities to talk about Jurassic Park. So guys, the voting has begun. It's time to vote. We do it live here in the YouTube chat. You don't have to go anywhere else. If you want to vote for Jurassic Park in the chat, all you got to do is do !vote1. Remember, !vote, and then there's a space and then the number. Do it just like it is on the screen. If you want to vote for Hook, do !vote8 in the chat. Just so you know that your vote counted because Streamlabs will tell you if your vote counted. That's how you know you did it right. You can also take a look at all the other regulars who come in here who know how to vote, and it's all there. So we have a bunch of it. I mean, look, guys, 100%. Dempsey, is there really any doubt that this thing is gonna not just knock it out? I think somebody said, I think it was James said it was Holyfield or McGregor versus Mike Tyson, or Conor McGregor versus Mike Tyson. I'm guessing in this case, I don't know. Is Mike Tyson Jurassic Park in that scenario? I'm confused. They're both pretty good, aren't they? But anyway.
I guess maybe new school versus old school. Is that what the comparison?
I guess James, you're gonna have to compare or clarify that one a little bit. But it doesn't matter because I think we all knew exactly what was going to happen. Jurassic Park is going to move on. Let's close out that poll. That was a quick one. We knew that was going to happen. 100%. We gotta hold on. Let me make sure that Jurassic Park does move on. We'll update and refresh that real quick. There we go. All right, so let's move on to probably the harder of the matchups here. We got the number 4 seed Catch Me If You Can going up against the number 5 seed Minority Report. Ryan and Shug, we'll start with you. How do you feel about these two films? We got DiCaprio and Hanks versus Tom Cruise. What do you think?
I've only seen Catch Me If You Can. I've never seen the other one.
You've never seen Minority Report?
No.
Okay, look, this is the thing. I think you'd like it, first off.
Yes,
Second off,
you definitely
Minority Report, I feel like a lot of people throw way too much shade on it. And even though it should clearly lose out to this, I'm a big believer in what this is all supposed to be about, and this is debating. I'm going to choose Minority Report over Catch Me If You Can because I believe it's got a strong chance of winning because of how awesome sci-fi it is. Mm-hmm. And back when it came out in 2000, don't know, there wasn't like really cool stuff going up against Star Wars when it came out. That is the prequel movies, because Star Wars was really the only movie around that time that was coming out that was like huge sci-fi stuff, and this movie got lost in that. And if you watch it today, it's still, not only does it still hold up, but it's got Tom freaking Cruise, it's got Steven Spielberg for one, but also it's a Philip K. Dick movie, any Philip K. Dick book or adaptation is always a really good time.
Yeah.
Catch Me If You Can has a few dips in the movie. And not only that, like Minority Report is going the whole time. So if you want a really good movie, because like Catch Me If You Can, that's misleading. Because I mean, sure it is, but Minority Report, they're running all the time. He's running all the time.
Dempsey, how do you feel about this? We'll bounce over to you.
He hit the he I feel the exact same way.
What? Okay,
yes.
go,
Yeah,
please.
To
Go.
me, I think they're both great Steven Spielberg movies, but for totally different reasons.
Okay.
But I'm going to have to lean towards Minority Report because with Catch Me If You Can, you know what it is going into it. It's a true story based on a true story.
Mm-hmm.
It's a game of cat and mouse for 2 hours and some minutes. It has two great actors in it, Tom Hanks and DiCaprio, that everybody just loves to swoon over, right?
For good reason, too.
Yeah, for totally different reasons, right? It captures the young and the old age group there. But it's just, I feel like it doesn't deliver the same kind of hype as Minority Report. I did not know that it was a Philip K. Dick movie. It was based on a Philip K. Dick story, actually. So that did not sway my vote in any way. But it is, I think, now that I see it, it does make a lot of sense, especially with some of the themes that it touches upon. But thinking back, I haven't seen both of these movies in a few years, but the one that just sticks with me more is Minority Report. Minority Report, just because of that opening sequence where he's trying to stop the husband from killing the wife because she's cheating on him, I think it was in the trailer too, where he's trying to race against time, and it's just so different, so futuristic. He works with a bunch of other actors that I don't think that he worked with again after this. Colin Farrell is in it, Max von Sydow, the late Max von Sydow, rest in peace, and Tom Cruise. This is like Tom Cruise at the peak of, being an action star. Yes, he had done Mission Impossible, but this, I think, solidified him as like, whoa, this guy can really do anything. So it's got everything: action, sci-fi, a bunch of twists and turns. Unlike Catch Me If You Can, you don't know what you're getting with this film. There are a lot of twists and turns all the way to the very end, and that's why I choose Minority Report.
Wow, I'm shocked. I'll be honest. I really am. Okay, so let me explain to people how to vote, and then I'll give my thoughts on this. If you want to vote for Catch Me If You Can, do !vote 4. If you want to do Minority Report, !vote 5. Remember, there is a space between the 5 and the 4. Do it just like on the screen. Now, for me, I love Minority Report. I think this is a standout film. I think you're right. It gets lost in the shuffle. For sure, of all the great Spielberg movies. It even gets lost in the shuffle of great Tom Cruise movies, and he's still crushing it with the action in this film. And he was younger, so he could do more. I mean, he still does a lot. That's not withstanding, but man, Catch Me If You Can. And I know it's losing, so maybe I gotta vote harder or explain harder here. So it's got comedy, it's got heart, it's got drama, it's got twists and turns. You feel for these characters. It's such a vehicle.
Wait, so the host of the show gets to put in their 2 cents to get votes? Is that
of
how
course
this
I
show
do.
works now? This is crazy.
This show goes however I want it to go. Okay. And
Ryan Seacrest doesn't get to vote for the singers. That's for sure.
Well, he could. I bet he could. I bet he could go in the back with his AT&T phone and start voting. I'm sure that's fine.
Here's the thing, though.
Okay.
Here's the thing.
What?
Is that I actually really freaking agree with you with a lot of these things. In fact, I even rank Catch Me If You Can higher. But we're talking about Steven Spielberg movies, and like the whole thing about Steven Spielberg is his blockbusters. That's the whole reason why he's famous. And if we're talking about blockbusters, Minority wins out 9 times out of 10 over Catch Me If You Can.
I also just want to interject real fast. Steven Spielberg, sci-fi Steven Spielberg is like top tier Steven Spielberg. Okay, there is not one sci-fi film, and yeah, you guys can talk crap about War of the Worlds, but even that one's pretty good. So I think whenever he's doing sci-fi, he's in his element. And yeah, Minority Report was an absolute blockbuster the summer that it came out. It may not be remembered too often now, but it was definitely a smash hit when it came out.
Yeah, I am I am shocked. I guess I shouldn't be too shocked, but I am shocked. We have our first upset of the night. I'm curious how many other upsets we're gonna have based on you guys and based on the people in the chat. You guys are driving me crazy tonight. But Minority Report moves on, even though I messed up. I switched those. Hold on, I don't want to anger anybody here. So let me switch that up real quick. Minority Report. Look at us. 63% of the vote to 37. Minority Report is moving on. It might have a roadblock in Jurassic Park, but I guess we'll get to that in a minute. Let's go to our next matchup. The number 3 seed of Schindler's List going up against the number 6 seed of Munich. Dempsey, we'll start with you on this one. This is a tough one. A lot of, no, I'm not going to say similar themes, but both of these films very close to Steven Spielberg's heart. And when he was filming it, he's spoken very lovingly about both of these films. How do you see this matchup?
So Munich, okay, I'll never unassociate or disassociate the film from being, that movie where Eric Bana just kicks ass for 2 hours. That's what Seth Rogen says in Knocked Up, because it's true. It is a totally badass movie. Yeah. I will admit that the plot does get a little bit confusing at times, especially towards the end when they become the targets. Sorry if you haven't seen it, but you probably should have seen it if you're watching this. I think it's a great film, but you're talking about Schindler's List here. Yeah, it's a mammoth of a movie. It's nearly 3 hours long, but it is a masterwork. I mean, that one scene where the girl in red walking through the black and white street, unforgettable. Really, if we want to talk about top tier Spielberg, this film is really top tier Spielberg. And yes, he has spoken a lot in depth. I've actually seen a lot of the commentary he did on Schindler's List about it's kind of a love letter to his heritage and how he actually learned how to count by reading the numbers on Holocaust survivors' arms. So yeah, and you can feel that through every shot, every frame of this film. Both really great films, but I'm sorry, Schindler's List has got to take it. And it's still a crime to me that Liam Neeson did not win an Oscar for this film. Yeah,
it's powerful. I'll get to my thoughts in a minute, but let's go over to the guys. Shug and Ryan, how do you feel about these two films? Shug, have you seen these films?
No, I don't think you've seen these movies, huh?
I've seen Catch Me If You Can.
Well, sorry, these two movies.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
The Schindler's List and Munich.
Yeah, never seen those two. I'm sorry, guys.
No, that's okay, because
you're here for the ride. It's all good.
Because that's kind of what my point is going to be about these two movies, is that not too many people have seen them. Now, people could probably fight me on that about Schindler's List because it's Schindler's List. It's the movie. But it's also one of those movies that people are like, I should watch that movie. But then they never get to it.
Yeah.
Because they're too busy watching movies like Munich because people are kicking butt. Now, do I like Schindler's List over Munich? Yeah, sure. But I think I can talk a good game about Munich. Munich did some freaking way cool things in its film itself. Steven Spielberg made that scene where they had to call the guy and he had to answer his phone for the bomb to go off, but then they had to abort the plan.
Yeah.
Did you know that even though that's one of the most suspenseful scenes of that decade, in my opinion, no music was going on that whole time. In fact, he told John Williams he doesn't want him writing anything for it. And John Williams ended up writing just in case. And it ended up working so nicely. That movie is so tense. One of my favorite shots of that movie is one of my favorite shots in Hollywood. And it's where the real footage of the Munich games, where the news footage was shooting the guys with the socks on their head walking out of the window. And you see that on the TV while the guy's walking out in real time. It is so freaking cool. It's not realistic, but Schindler's List has got that going for it. Sadly enough, It is realistic. But for Munich, it did some really cool things. For a movie like that to come out when it did, and for nobody to go and see it, not to mention get crazy Oscar buzz, I think a movie like that should be watched way more.
Yeah,
and it probably will after this, because
Yeah, I mean, it's
The Academy's watching.
yeah, they are. Yeah, sure, they are all of them, all 5,000 of them, all 5,000 members. They're watching. Look, you make some great points, Ryan. And it's funny. We were doing this topic today, and I was browsing through Facebook, and I'm in a bunch of Facebook movie, groups or whatever they're called. And somebody brought up Munich, and so many people were like, "It's his best film ever." So it's not an uncommon thought to think Munich is way up there, but it's really hard to go up against Schindler's List for sure. And look, you made a good point that it's one of those movies where people are like, I have to see this, and they haven't, just because of the subject matter. This movie is a tough watch for sure. It's not an easy going, and it's one of those films where like you watch it once and like you're good for the rest of your life. You may not ever want to go back to it. Now Munich is rewatchable. So that if you're gonna talk about, pinning each other to each other, Munich definitely has more rewatchability.
Also, because Dempsey says that it's a little bit confusing. No, I think that was you that said that. I don't know who said it. Somebody said it. Go watch it again. It's even better the second time.
All right. I've only seen it once, so that's a
really?
fair statement. That is a fair statement. Okay.
Guys, if you want to vote, I should have said, hold on, let me say this real quick. If you want to vote, do exclamation vote 3 in the chat. If you want to do for Schindler's List, if you want to do Munich, do exclamation vote 6. I should have said that at the beginning. I apologize. For those of you who had just jumped in here, make sure you vote that way. Sorry, gentlemen, go right ahead.
No.
I actually have people texting me saying, "How do I vote right now?"
I know.
So,
I apologize. I definitely should have said that up at the beginning.
No, man, I totally agree. I like I said, I've seen it once. I'm not saying it's a bad film, but you're putting it up there with Schindler's List, which is just once again a mammoth movie. The themes that it touches upon, the time period. I think that Steven Spielberg handled the Holocaust so delicately, that whole period of time. And like I said, it's a love letter to his own heritage, and you feel that with every single frame. And I think it's because of that personal connection he has that it comes across as such a greater film than you think it is.
Yeah.
But I agree. Munich is really good. From the last time that I saw it, the one time I saw it, it's definitely memorable. But against Schindler's List, I don't think it has a chance.
Yeah, and LB makes a very good point that Spielberg filmed both Schindler's List and Jurassic Park at the same time. He cranked out 2 of the greatest films of all time, filming them and having them released in the same year. It's unbelievable. All right, so Schindler's List with 80% of the vote is moving on to the second round. Let's now get to our final matchup of the first round. We have the number 2 seed, Saving Private Ryan, going up against the 7 seed of Amistad. Right, we are doing Ryan and Shug first. Gentlemen, how do you feel about these 2 films?
I like this a lot. It's got great actors. I do love Vin Diesel, but he's not that great of an actor, but he's in one of my favorite movies that I've always watched of all time, the Fast films, and Tom Hanks, and you got Matt Damon, all those cool guys.
You're talking about Saving Private Ryan.
Yes.
Yeah, because Amistad has pretty cool people in it too.
Yeah.
It's got Anthony Hopkins. It's got Matthew McConaughey.
Now that's one I haven't seen either.
That's okay. But I can never pronounce his name correctly.
Oh, Jimon Hansu.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only reason why I like this film.
Because of him?
Yeah, man. This film introduced him to the world.
Yeah, he just crushed it.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so here's another thing then. Without Amistad, we would never have Lincoln Lawyer, because then McConaughey wouldn't feel comfortable enough.
It was his audition for that. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
But it's clearly Saving Private Ryan. It's one of the greatest movies of all time. It's probably my number 2 favorite of all time, because there's never been a movie like it ever, especially when it came out. It dared to show the gritty side, and that's probably saying a lot, because a lot of other movies that were about war did it, but this one was the realest ever. It's something that some veterans have to stay away from because of PTSD and all that kind of stuff. Not that makes it a great movie, but what Steven Spielberg was trying to do was trying to convey the fact that this was not just a superhero kind of type story. This actually really happened to these real people, and it did it so well with the characters and all of that. It's an amazing movie.
Yeah. Dempsey, how do you feel about this matchup?
Okay, so once again, he pretty much went on what I was going to say, that Amistad does have some really great actors, but the only thing that I really took away from it, I mean, it's a great story, great film, Steven Spielberg, right? Jimon Hansu. Like, literally, that's the only really noteworthy thing that I think that the film contributes or has contributed to, you know, modern day storytelling. I mean, without him, we probably wouldn't have some of the best bad guys in film to date. But I think that the obvious choice here is Saving Private Ryan. That 20-minute scene on the beach of Normandy, that one, I still think about it to this day, that one scene where the guy gets shot in his helmet and he's like, wow, man, that was a close shot. And then he gets shot through the head for taking off his helmet. It's like little things like that. That whole entire film is so iconic.
Yeah.
Barry Pepper, Vin Diesel. I'm glad that Shug said that Vin Diesel is in it, because so many people forget that Vin Diesel is in this.
Yeah.
It's got a bunch of other people in it. If I'm not mistaken, I think Paul Giamatti also has a role. Nathan Fillion, tons of great actors. Tom Sizemore.
Ted Danson's in it.
Yeah.
Are you serious? I did not know that. I did not know that.
Ted Danson's in it.
Tom Sizemore at the peak of, Tom Sizemore before the crack. There's a bunch of really great performances. Edward Burns, right? All these people, and it is gripping from beginning to end. That one scene where Giovanni Ribisi, he's dying, and they're like, "Tell us how to put you back together. Tell us, man. We'll do it. We'll do it." It's just so emotional. It's so great. Even that one scene at the very end where Matt Damon is in the cemetery and you see his face slowly transform to the old man. Dude, that movie has so many great scenes in it. And honestly, I'm not even gonna lie, like, it is like definitely one of my favorite films of all time too. It's easily my favorite Steven Spielberg movie.
Oh yeah, it's definitely it's not a shocker for anyone to say it's one of their favorites for sure. All right, let's get to the vote. Let me get that out of the way so that I make sure I tell everyone how to vote. If you want to vote for Saving Private Ryan, do !vote 2 in the chat. If you want to do Amistad, do !vote 7 in the chat. Do it just like it's on the screen. Streamlabs will tell you in the chat if you voted correctly. You'll get a reminder that you did it. Yeah.
Me and Shug are laughing right now because my brother is in the chat and he just dissed on all the Fast and Furious movies, and Shug is not happy. Just have to say that out loud right now.
Hey man, a lot of people love those movies for sure.
Hey, what's not to like? There's nice, cool cars and gorgeous women and great action. I know they're making too many of them. I know they do need to stop, but it's just
it's okay.
Why are we even talking about fast
you're
movies
right.
when Steven Spielberg?
Let me
brought it up.
Hold on. What I want to do is I want to give, because Private Ryan's going to win. I'm going to vote for Private Ryan right now, just so I can talk and get my vote out. But I got to give some love to Amistad. I think it's a very not underrated, because I think people who watch it tend to enjoy it. But it's definitely a very under-discussed film. I especially, first of all, the opening 10 minutes of this film is as brutal as Saving Private Ryan.
I would say in some ways it's worse. I'm actually really interested. It's hard to talk and look at the chat every now and then. So sorry if we don't like jump to you guys, because we're just having so much fun. But I'm curious to see how many have actually seen the movie. Sorry, Adam. No,
definitely, it's a great question. Look, I was reading through it, and some people said they haven't even seen it, which, I'm not surprised. This went way under the radar for Spielberg.
Yes.
I'm not really sure why. I really have no idea. I mean, the cast is incredible. Hold on, I was just looking to see what year. Okay, so.
I feel like it was one of his first Emblem films, like when they first launched that brand.
Maybe I thought I thought it was DreamWorks, but maybe it was Emblem.
Just like he did with Jurassic Park and Schindler's List, he made this film, Saving Private Ryan, and The Lost World back to back to back. And I think that maybe the studios might have been overwhelmed with so much Spielberg. And I think that one film had to fall under. And I think Amistad was definitely that film.
I gotta say though, as much as Hansu is great, and by the way, he was great in Gladiator too. It's the 20th anniversary of that film, and he was awesome in that movie too. There's way more than just him that's great in this movie. Matthew McConaughey crushes this movie, absolutely. Morgan Freeman crushes this movie. It's so, but I mean, that's a Spielberg movie, right? He gets the best out of his actors. Look, no offense, Shug, he actually made Vin Diesel a good actor in this film. So that's the power. That's the power of Spielberg. He can get those performances out of it. So if you haven't seen Amistad, I'm telling you, go watch it. I promise you will. Well, I can't promise you, but I think that you will really like it. Even Jacob says Amistad was really good, but up against Saving Private Ryan's no contest. Trinity says I haven't even seen it, so I voted for what I've seen, which is fine. Look, I know that this is probably a movie that not a lot of people seen, but I like to put it out here because you should see it. And that, part of doing this show as well is kind of giving people some films that we can talk about that if you haven't seen it, it's sort of like a recommendation as well, for sure. Okay, we are heading into the second round, but before we do, I just want to take a quick, not a break, but just to inform you guys of something. If you didn't know, on the channel, we do a morning movie show now, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's called Morning Movie Brews, where we just sort of sit around. It's a wake-up show. Grab a cup of coffee, drink a Red Bull, whatever you have in the morning, and we talk about the movie news. Tomorrow on the show, we're talking about whether Keanu Reeves is going to make a good Ghost Rider or not. So it should be a fun time. So definitely, if you enjoy just waking up, listening to an idiot like myself talk about some movie news, and come in the chat, and I read off all the chat, come hang out 9 a.m. Eastern during the week. So we do that as well. All right, let's get into it. Jurassic Park, the number 1 seed, going up against the number 5 seed of Minority Report. Dempsey, we are going with you. This is going to be a tough one, I think. A lot of people gave love to Minority Report in the last round, but can it go up against the juggernaut of Jurassic Park?
Oh, me?
Yeah, we'll go with you first, Demps.
Okay. Sorry, because I cut out. Jurassic Park versus Minority Report. This is tough because I gave such a riveting speech about Minority Report that upset. I think obviously Jurassic Park is going to take it, but a Minority Report is still great. I think people still should see it or pay more attention to it if they haven't seen it.
Right.
Jurassic Park is an undeniable classic, like so many other films on this list. Minority Report, you can sing the praises, talk about how Tom Cruise is awesome in that. But I put them on a scale, right? And I think of which film has had more weight culturally, since its release.
Okay.
And obviously Minority Report has been forgotten. It's not talked about enough.
Sure.
Jurassic Park, I mean, they're still pumped. They got the Jurassic World franchise still making films.
Mm-hmm.
It's been spoofed in Hollywood, and so many well-known actors have been in this franchise too. It's a career-making franchise, and Sam Neill, Laura Dern, Jeff Goldblum, Sam Jackson, Wayne Knight. I could just go on forever. So many great people in this film. So many unforgettable moments. It's going to be Jurassic Park.
All right, I'll bounce it to the gentleman over here, Ryan Shug. How do you feel about this matchup?
Oh, I already know Jurassic's gonna win. It's a classic, man.
Look, Jurassic Park has still influenced the entire industry, not only for the direction that Spielberg has given, but for the groundbreaking special effects that it had. Ryan, I know you're a special effects guy. Maybe you could talk about the two of them and what, because Minority Report sure had its own incredible special effects for its time.
I knew I was special. I didn't know that it had so much effect on you. But the thing is that Jurassic Park was written by a man by Michael Crichton. The book did okay when it came out, but it didn't do as well as the movie that it was adapted from it, obviously, because so many people don't even know that there is a book about that. And what I'm getting at with that is that Minority Report is also something that people has not only forgotten, but didn't know. Like Dempsey had said, didn't even know it was adapted from a short story by Philip K. Dick.
Mhm.
Philip K. Dick, in my opinion, is one of the coolest writers was out there. Because he hits on really cool things such as time travel and alternate realities and all that kind of stuff. And when you boiled it down to the T, if there wasn't a Jurassic Park, I honestly think Minority Report could be at the status that Jurassic Park is at because of all of the sci-fi kind of things here. What I'm trying to get at is that Minority Report is a really freaking good movie, and a lot of people in the chat do not agree with me. Not to mention Brett.
I disagree.
Brother, my cousin doesn't like that movie either, and that's bullcrap because I have a feeling he's watching this right now, and it's really good. If I had to argue the fact that which one is better because Jurassic Park exists, it would definitely be Jurassic Park because it's not a fair matchup. But in my opinion, it's one of my favorite Tom Cruise movies out there. It's really freaking good.
Look,
But for Jurassic Park, it's something that kids can even like because it's dinosaurs, and a lot of people just love dinosaurs just nonstop. And I really love the sound effects of the roars that the T-Rex makes, and that's probably like my favorite part of the whole movie is to hear the T-Rex roar.
yeah. Let me get
the whole reason why you were into dinosaurs when you were a kid, huh?
If you want to vote Jurassic Park, do exclamation vote 1. If you want to do Minority Report, exclamation vote 5. Dempsey, I saw you were chomping at the bit there. Go ahead.
No, somebody said Jurassic Park is so outdated.
Yeah, that was Boonda.
Yeah,
Boonda, what are you talking about?
Oh, no.
Come on, Boonda.
My eyes have been on
Jurassic
the
Park
the whole time. That's what I've been paying
still holds
attention
up.
to.
Come on, man. Boonda,
Okay,
disappointing
here's
me.
another thing though. If I had to find some way to debate on Minority Report being better, is that there's only one movie of Minority Report, and there's only one good movie of Jurassic Park out of how many movies are there now?
No, there's one amazing movie. I wouldn't say there's one good one. There's one amazing.
No, there is.
But
Adam,
Jurassic World was good.
no,
I totally agree with him. Sorry.
well, then two of you are wrong.
I didn't say it's great. I didn't say it was amazing. Jurassic World was good.
We're talking about Jurassic Park, though. It needs to be amazing. Screw that shit.
Well, I mean,
I think Jurassic Park 3 is pretty good. I don't know. I might be in the minority on that, but I think
I've heard people say that. I don't necessarily hold that opinion, but you're not alone. At least you didn't say 2. 2, I might have, had a little.
Nah, I'm good.
Look, we're all friends here. We get it. But I don't respect either of you guys' opinions on this because they're all so bad.
Look, I get that a lot. I get that in my own household too. So why not get it online? It's totally fine. All right, so we've finished the vote. Let's jump back to the bracket. The number 1 seed moving on to the finals. Jurassic Park will head to the finals with a 78% vote. I was actually a little surprised that it was that much. Not because of the films. I just saw a lot of people talking in the chat. They were chatting up Minority Report.
Yeah.
But it just didn't have the legs. All right, we're now heading to the knockout, drag them out fight of the night. I think until we get to the finals. I think the finals might even be tougher. But we're getting to the number 3 seed Schindler's List now going up against the number 2 seed of Saving Private Ryan. All right, so we'll do Ryan and Shug on this one.
I gotta go though.
Two heavy ones. What do you guys think?
Okay, so Schindler's List versus Saving Private Ryan. And Shug's got to head out here in just a second. So it's going to only be me in the finals because I'm a bad judge of time. But this is a really freaking hard question. I mean, out of all the
Oh, yeah.
movies out there, Shug, what do you think would be better than Saving Private Ryan?
Out of all of Spielberg.
Out of any movie, because there's really not very many movies that are even better than that one. But Schindler's List is like a classic. But somebody said it in here before. I think it was you, Adam. That was like, it's a must see, but it's not a must see multiple times. In fact, if you do, then you're going to be sad.
Right.
Because it's a sad movie. But so is Saving Private Ryan. But there is that element of suspense and all that kind of stuff. It's clearly Saving Private Ryan. I mean, freaking people might say like, oh, well, Schindler's List has an Oscar, a few Oscars, but that was the weirdest fluke in all of Oscar history for Shakespeare in Love to win. I don't know.
No,
I really do like that movie.
Okay, that's not the greatest fluke, but I agree that. I mean, that's another topic for another day, for sure.
Yeah, it's clearly Saving Private Ryan, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's jump it over to Dempsey. How do you feel about this? Which one are you leaning?
It's incredible because if I'm not mistaken, Spielberg won an Oscar for directing both of these films, which is crazy to me. And I can't believe that I have to duke it out between these two.
Yeah,
I said it earlier. Saving Private Ryan is one of my favorite films of all time. There's so much to love about that movie. Not to say that there's not anything to love about Schindler's List, but if you want to talk about which is his best work or which that people will be talking about forever, both will obviously be spoken about forever, but I think that the one that is more commercially successful, because they're both critically successful, right, is Saving Private Ryan. Schindler's List, I mentioned before, it's such a personal film to Spielberg, and it's a beautiful film. But I think that Saving Private Ryan has a different kind of energy to it, which is why I think so many people have revisited it multiple times. As Ryan said, it's a film that you like to watch, even though you know it has kind of a sad ending, but it's definitely a lot more hopeful. Schindler's List takes place at one of the they both take place during World War II,
right? But
Schindler's List has a much it takes place and it sheds light on a lot of why the people were fighting in the first place. So I'm gonna have to give it to Saving Private Ryan once again. A bunch of really great performances, and I think the biggest theme that I personally can really resonate with the most is the fact that they're just brothers, just trying to help this one brother get home to his family, and that's something that is just really beautiful, more beautiful than Schindler's List. So that's why I have to give my vote to Schindler's List.
Yeah, this is such a hard matchup. I mean,
it really is.
I think when it comes down for me, I think I have to go. Well, first of all, in my own personal rankings, like in general, not just the show, in my own personal rankings, I definitely have Saving Private Ryan higher on that list. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's the better movie. It's just the movie I enjoy more. So, and that's sort of what we're talking about here. Is Schindler's List technically and filmmaking wise, is it the better film? I mean, I have to say yes, but I don't know that I enjoy it more. And so that's where I'm stuck on this.
That's exactly what I agree with you. Absolutely.
That's why it's so difficult. But I want to know what the people are doing. It's time to vote. If you want to vote for Schindler's List, do !vote 3 right in the chat. Remember, there is a space in between vote and the number. If you want to vote for Saving Private Ryan, do !vote 2. Right now, Schindler's List off to a fast start with 2 votes to 0. For me personally, I have to go, I think, for more as much as a war movie can be fun, and it's not necessarily fun, but it's more rewatchable for me. I have seen Schindler's List more than once, but I haven't seen it more than twice. So literally I've seen it twice. That's what that means. So for me, I think I'm going Saving Private Ryan. But it looks like Schindler's List is might take the win. I gotta vote myself. Dempsey, are you surprised by this?
I I don't know. I honestly don't know. I didn't expect, honestly, when I first saw the list of films, I knew that Jurassic Park would make it to the end,
Yeah.
and I figured it would be a toss up between Schindler's List and Saving Private Ryan, leaning towards Saving Private Ryan. But yeah, I think the people have spoken, man.
It's man, this was one of the closest ones we've had. Oh, with 5 votes to 4, Schindler's List is gonna move on. Wow, I knew this was gonna be close, for sure. So we got 56% of the vote going up against 44% of the vote. Schindler's List is moving on. Ryan, I saw you shaking your head there. How do you feel about this?
I feel like people are feeling guilty and the guilt got to them.
Maybe
Everybody really does know that Saving Private Ryan is better than Schindler's List.
Maybe
They just don't want to admit it. And I feel like we are the brave few who do. I mean, Schindler's List is great.
Yeah.
We're not saying that any of these are bad movies, but just because it's Schindler's List doesn't mean that it wins out for me. It's a freaking amazing movie.
Yeah.
But just like you said, it is a one-time watch for me.
Right. Well, the people have spoken. People love Schindler. Well, the people really enjoy it, maybe even love this film. So it is moving on. Shug, I know you have to head out. So I want to thank you, sir, for stopping by. For sure. Guys, if you haven't already, and we'll talk about this later when we're done with Ryan, but make sure you're checking out Nerdy Blurb TV, because I know Shug just did a video that they posted on it. If you guys want to talk about it real quick before Shug heads out, definitely.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about your video?
Nah, not really. I'm sorry, guys. I'm really not comfortable with this stuff. I didn't know you guys were doing this until when I got here. Ryan just surprised me with it.
You mean you didn't know about all the other movies?
Yeah, I really didn't know any about this. I know I'm sorry if I haven't said that much, but
No,
That's okay.
It's all good. I blame Ryan for most things. He's kind of like that, so it's all good. Well, thanks for hanging out and talking the movies that you didn't know, though. I definitely appreciate it.
yeah,
for sure.
Technically, he just brought me in as a guest just to watch. So
Hey, you got the front row
That is
seat
true.
tonight, so it's all good. Thanks for showing up, man. I appreciate it.
sometimes it's scary for me to be all over on YouTube.
It's okay. You got lots of fans there, bud. Like freaking you nailed it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, you did all
All right.
good. Thanks, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
All right, let's now move it on. We got the number 3 seed Schindler's List has made it to the finals. So now we are going into the finals of the number 1 seed Jurassic Park going up against the number 3 seed Schindler's List. Gentlemen, this was not necessarily the matchup we thought we were getting. I assumed that Saving Private Ryan was going to make it, but hey, this is where we're at. So let's talk about it. Dempsey, we'll start with you. Jurassic Park, Schindler's List. Again, like I'm going to repeat what LB said. Literally, these films were made at the same time. So I'm so not surprised that they have made it to the finals themselves. So go ahead. The floor is yours. How do you feel about these two films?
Damn. Man. Oh, Jurassic Park and Schindler's List. Jurassic Park, fun fact, Steven Spielberg made the highest grossing film of all time 3 times. The first time with Jaws, second time with E.T., and third time with Jurassic Park. Yeah, man, dude, these films are obviously both great for different reasons. They're both technically well done on just totally different levels. You know, you have Spielberg and his beautiful vision of a black and white landscape, whereas you have another Isla Nublar, right? That's what it's called.
Yep.
In Jurassic Park, with all these insane creatures that, I'm sorry, are not outdated. I mean, those effects hold up pretty well. Those animatronics are still very impressive to this day. But when you talk, so it has great performances, great stories. You have to break down the actors in them, right? Or did I say great? No, they have great performances, great story. You have to break down the core themes in each. Where you have Schindler, who's literally trying to save human beings,
Yeah,
and then you have Dr. Grant, who's trying to save human beings from dinosaurs. Dude, it's just so hard. I don't even know what to say. I think that the right thing to say is that
you got to go with your
Schindler-
heart, man. Go with your heart on this one.
I want Jurassic Park to win this. And I feel so messed up for saying that because I feel like Schindler's List is clearly the better film, but it's not my preferred film.
Sure.
Jurassic Park is something that is still fun today. I watched it just like a couple of months ago with my son. Absolute blast. Even though you know that some people are going to get eaten, you still feel like you're on an adventure. Schindler's List is great, but it's just incredibly sad. Once I will say this for the third time, it's Steven Spielberg's most personal film, and because of that, not everybody can resonate with it, even though we can all acknowledge of how great a film it is. So.
Yeah.
Gonna go with my heart, like you said. I'm gonna choose Jurassic Park.
All right, Ryan, the floor is yours. You got the full screen now. Schindler's List, Jurassic Park. Which way are you going?
Thank you for the full screen because I was looking like the friggin' blob because of all this COVID stuff. And because of COVID, I just want to share a little bit about the experience that we've been having to answer your question. It's been bleak over here. It's been locked up, cooped up, can't go see movies, can't go to the park, can't do all that kind of stuff. But when the time comes for the movie theaters to open up again and the movie theaters be like, we know that you've been going through a hard time. We are going to re-release. Is it going to be Schindler's List or is it going to be Jurassic Park? Which one are you going to go see? Of course it's going to be Jurassic Park because no one's going to want to go and see Schindler's List right after COVID-19 quarantine. Not to mention, 9 times out of 10, if you want to just throw on Jurassic Park, it's going to do it for you. You want white noise Schindler's List? That ain't going to happen. No, you want Jeff Goldblum saying must go faster because you do. You always do have to go faster. That's what Jurassic Park teaches us about life. Schindler's List did a good job at teaching us many great things about history, things that need to be remembered, but it doesn't need to be relived, and Jurassic Park does that in the best way possible that Hollywood has ever offered us.
Okay, let's see what the people have to say. You guys have gave your final opinions. You are both leaning Jurassic Park. I would say leaning hard for sure. If you want to vote for Jurassic Park, do vote 1 in the chat. If you want to do Schindler's List, do vote 3. And gentlemen, I've been waiting all night to say this because I was crossing my fingers that Jurassic Park made it to the end, but I'm sorry. Jurassic Park is one of the greatest films of all time, and it would be a crime against humanity if this film does not win this entire tournament. Are you kidding me? This movie is incredible. It's always been incredible. It still holds up. It is wonderfully acted by everybody. The direction is incredible. We barely talked about the music tonight of John Williams, which is the most incredible score. He gives us 2 different themes in the same movie. It's the best, one of the best movies ever. It's in my top 3 movies of all time, right under Shawshank Redemption, and for me, Braveheart. Jurassic Park is right there in the top 3. If this doesn't win, I might quit the show. And
as you're saying this, everybody's
no.
As you're pumping this film up, it's like vote 3. Oh no!
What is happening? Hold on, I still have to vote. It's not going to make a damn difference. But I'm still voting it. I'm going to get the last vote in. It's not going to count. I think the 3 of us are probably the only 3 people that voted for this movie. I'm shocked. I cannot believe it. Jurassic Park has lost to Schindler's List in the... Oh, okay. I need to breathe. Okay. It's okay.
People have spoken. No.
Oh, okay. So, look, in reality, Schindler's List is a wonderful movie. I'm not going to knock this movie. I cannot believe what just happened. Okay. Jurassic Park loses. I should change my background right now. Jurassic Park loses to Schindler's List. You guys have done it. You have voted Schindler's List as your number one Steven Spielberg film from the 90s and the 2000s. Gentlemen, am I crazy? Am I crazy? Dempsey, am I crazy?
You're not. I think I don't want to speak for the people because the people have already spoken, but I think guilt might have played a huge factor in tonight's vote.
Look, hold on. Let me run through this chat here because I gotta see what people are saying. Let's do blah 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 blah. Man, this is a tough one. I love both of these films, but Schindler's List isn't just a great movie. It's a movie that should be required to see. Yeah, Jacob, I agree. James says Jurassic Park is fun, but Schindler's List is definitive. Okay, we got that. Okay, great. Bunda says not really to all of my comments, so thank you, Bunda. So he was clearly going for Schindler's List. Jacob predicted which way you were going. Bunda also says Jeff Goldblum is overrated AF. Rebels, James says Life Finds a Way applies to Schindler's List too.
It does. I'll give him
Sir
that.
Nerdalot says, but Liam Neeson, and that's a great argument too. I mean, Liam Neeson was incredible. Oh man. Okay, so look, I'm in the minority here. I don't know what to say. It's totally fine. Look, Ryan's upset. He wore the wrong hat, but it's okay.
I'm freaking speechless. This is ridiculous. In fact, like right before we started all of this, we were having like a small Twitter message, whatever, and Dempsey like had like a brain aneurysm or something, and we're like, oh, it probably COVID has been getting, or quarantine has been getting to your brain. And like this is more evidence than that. Like this, like people are literally losing their freaking minds over this. Sure, Schindler's List is freaking great, but like I've been packing up all my food storage and I've been like making 72-hour kits because of the end of the world. This scares me more than all of that. This is ridiculous.
Oh.
I think that you're right. I think there's definitely proof. This is proof that something's in the air.
Hey, look. We're being crybabies for sure. I'm hurt. I'm hurt in my soul. But hey, I appreciate everybody's opinions, which is clearly more than ours. Clearly they enjoy this film way more. Even Trinity says Minority Report should have win, but Trinity is very good at picking like the 4 and 5 seed. Like he always thinks that that's the one that's supposed to win. So yeah, ET would have won, but if we were doing 80s for sure. If we did all, that's why I split it up, because there's too many Spielberg movies. We're definitely going to do a 70s 80s Spielberg down the road.
I'm waiting for Steve Harvey to come out and say the winner is Moonlight. I don't know.
Oh man. Well, thank you everyone who's here hanging out and voting. Dempsey, Ryan, thank you so much for coming. Dempsey, tell the people what you got going on and all about your YouTube channel.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Adam, first and foremost, for having me on this. It was a blast. Would love to be back in the future.
Absolutely.
Had a lot of fun talking about Steven Spielberg. Had a lot of fun with Ryan. Ryan already knows we're boys. I have my own YouTube channel. It's
We Dem Boys.
Yeah, We Dem Boys. It's at Pillot Productions, which is like the way my last name is spelled. Pilot with an extra L Productions, where I do movie reviews. I like to do at least 1 or 2 reviews a week. This week, obviously, well, since there haven't been many movie reviews because there's no movies, I actually reviewed the TV series Dave from Little Dicky, which is a riot. I actually just posted it today. If you guys want to check it out,
Nice.
Just go to my channel and subscribe. I post new stuff weekly, and yeah, and you can follow me on Twitter too.
And you know what? I just noticed the sign behind you where it says 90s
right?
and 2000 Spielberg. That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
It's very, very around the horn of you doing that. That's pretty good. I like it.
Yeah, thanks.
Ryan, tell everyone what you got going on.
Well, first off, I just want to say Dempsey's got one of my favorite film review channels out there. There are a couple others out there too, like Jacob Anders Reviews, who is in the chat right now. You guys are some of my favorites. If you really want just like to the point why they like this movie, why they think it's a good movie, go check out Dempsey and go check out Jacob. Dempsey, him and I, we've known each other for a while now, and I
Pretty
freaking
long.
love his stuff. And I haven't done YouTube in a very long time because I just don't feel like it. No, actually, because we're actually doing something really big. We're really excited about it. Shug is very much involved, and we just dropped a video today with Shug, and that's because we're getting back into the swing of things. So we'll see how everything goes. Right now it's kind of crazy because and you two as well, because we were just talking about this, all of our wives are teachers, so we all kind of like have been like helping them teach from home. That's clearly the case for me. I've also been helping out with her coworkers as well, so it's pretty crazy. But the school year is almost over, if not over, hopefully tomorrow, and we can get more things going. But this has been fun. I don't think I'll come back because I've lost hope in all humanity now.
Well, for me personally, the two of you will always have a open invitation to come back, and we'll definitely be talking so that we can work some schedules out and have you in, and hopefully a movie will win that we all pick. But we'll see. That's how it goes. That's how it goes sometimes, and it's all good. But
Thanks for having me, Adam. I really do appreciate it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Both of you, thank you so much for coming on. All right, well, that's the show. We are done. We're out. Schindler's List over Jurassic Park. I'm so flustered I can't even say it. Be sure to check out our morning show, 9 a.m. Eastern every day, and go ahead, check out some of our other videos. We think you'll like it. Thanks for watching.